Dr. Zephy's four eyes blinked in sequence as she reviewed the final data compilation for the third time. The crystalline console before her hummed with the computational power of the Galactic Research Consortium's most advanced xenobiology laboratory. Yet the results remained unchanged. Disturbing. Unprecedented. "The scans must be corrupted," muttered her research partner, Dr. Vexilon, his tentacles writhing nervously around his workstation. No species could possess such aberrant biological parameters. Zephy's mandibles clicked in disagreement. The Kethri had been the consortium's premier xenobiologists for over 2 millennia, cataloging and classifying thousands of species across 47 star systems. Their methodology was flawless, their equipment unparalleled. The humans they had studied, captured during routine patrols in the Outer Rim territories, represented a complete biological anomaly. The cardiovascular system alone defies conventional evolutionary logic, Zephy said, her voice carrying the characteristic trill of deep concern. Their hearts operate at pressures that would rupture the circulatory systems of most known species. Yet somehow their vessels adapt and strengthen under stress rather than deteriorating. She manipulated the holographic display, revealing cross-sections of human musculature. Notice the muscle fiber density. When subjected to resistance, these tissues don't just repair, they hypertrophy, becoming stronger than before. It's as if their bodies are designed for perpetual warfare. Vexilon's skin shifted through several colors, a sign of acute distress among his people. What of their neural capacity? Perhaps the most alarming aspect, Zephy replied, calling up brain scans. Their neural plasticity exceeds anything we've encountered. They can literally rewire their cognitive architecture based on environmental demands. Combat stress, which would induce permanent psychological damage in most species, appears to enhance their tactical processing in many specimens. The laboratory fell silent except for the ambient hum of life support systems. Through the observation window, they could see their human subjects in the containment facility. 12 individuals from various Earth cultures and backgrounds. The beings moved with an unsettling combination of grace and latent power, their eyes constantly scanning their environment with predatory awareness. "There's more," Zephy continued, her tone dropping to barely above a whisper. "Their pain tolerance is extraordinary. We've observed subjects continuing to function at optimal levels despite injuries that would incapacitate most sentient beings. They seem to possess an ability to override their body's natural protective mechanisms through sheer mental determination." She pulled up metabolic data. "Their cellular repair systems are unlike anything in our databases. While most species show declining regenerative capacity with age, humans can maintain and even improve their physical capabilities well into advanced maturity through behavioral modifications. They call it exercise, the deliberate subjection of their bodies to stress to induce adaptive improvements." Dr. Vexilon's tentacles had gone completely still, a sign of mortal fear among his kind. "Are you suggesting these creatures evolved specifically for conflict?" "The evidence is overwhelming," Zephy replied. "Consider their skeletal structure, dense, reinforced bone matrix capable of withstanding impacts that would shatter our exoskeletons. Their skin produces a protective protein matrix when damaged. Their adrenal systems can flood their bloodstream with performance-enhancing chemicals in milliseconds. Even their social behaviors suggest a species designed for coordinated warfare." She gestured toward the containment area, where the human subjects had naturally organized themselves into a hierarchical structure, with the obvious leaders positioning themselves to optimize group defense and resource allocation. "They've been isolated from their technology for 3 cycles, Zephy noted. Yet they've already begun fashioning tools and weapons from basic materials. Yesterday, Subject 7 created a functional blade from a piece of wall plating. When questioned, he explained it was instinct. The implications hung heavy in the sterile air. The Galactic Consortium had maintained peace for over 5,000 years through careful management of member species' capabilities. Aggressive races were either quarantined or their development carefully guided along peaceful paths. But humans represented something entirely unprecedented. "Their reproductive rate?" Vexilon asked weakly. catastrophically high by our standards. A single breeding pair can produce multiple offspring annually, with each offspring reaching combat effectiveness in approximately 16 to 18 standard years. Their population growth potential is exponential. HFY accessed another file. But perhaps most concerning is their psychological profile. They possess an unprecedented capacity for what they term sacrifice, the willing acceptance of personal destruction to ensure group survival or to achieve abstract goals. This behavior appears to be hardwired into their neural architecture. She displayed recordings of the human subjects' conversations, their voices carrying strange undertones of determination and defiance despite their captivity. They don't fear death in the conventional sense, she continued. They fear irrelevance, dishonor, failure to protect those they care about. This makes them fundamentally unpredictable by our behavioral models. Dr. Vexilon began the formal classification protocols, his movements mechanical. Recommendation for consortium command? HFY's 4 eyes focused on the humans in the containment facility. One of them, the female designated Subject 3, seemed to be staring directly back at her despite the one-way viewing screen. The creature's eyes held an intelligence that was both calculating and somehow compassionate. It was this combination that perhaps terrified her most. Species, Homo sapiens. Classification, strategic biological threat, level Omega, recommendation. She paused, watching as Subject 3 smiled, an expression that somehow managed to be both reassuring and predatory. Immediate quarantine of Sol system. No further contact authorized without full consortium military escort. As the report compiled and transmitted to Consortium Command, neither scientist noticed the subtle pattern Subject 3 had been tapping against the wall with her fingers, a rhythmic sequence that, to human ears, would have been unmistakably recognizable as Morse code. The message was simple. We know you're watching. We're ready when you are. The age of peaceful coexistence in the galaxy was about to end, and humanity hadn't even known they were at war